Hey everyone, welcome to Momento con Memo, a moment with Will. Uh, Today I'm going to be reacting to this article about uh, about the market right now. Is it really better to rent than to own a home right now? So, in short, if you can afford to purchase a home, then yes, it is the time to buy because there's several factors happening right now that is making this market so flippin' wild. I think that over the last couple of weeks, we've seen a couple of bank failures happen, and these bank failures have led us to a situation where we have a type of moral hazard happening in the market. This moral hazard is basically the issue of bailing out these banks and then just continuing to do the madness that they're doing, which is like, investing without regard and taking over certain sectors of the real estate market, which is why we're getting such inflated prices right now, is because there's about the National Association of Realtors says that about 20% of the market right now is owned by investor corporations. We're talking like finance corporations. All right. I just recently saw an article in the New York Times talking about how a lot of property management companies in the commercial industry are over leveraged at this moment as well. So people are wondering like, oh, is there going to be another bubble? Is that going to happen again? I don't think so. Not unless something horribly goes wrong on top of everything that's going on that's corrupt. Like, I'm not saying that it's right, but I am saying that right now they got us by the shorts and curlies, to put it, grossly. But that's the kind of the situation that we're in right now because all of these banks are buying up these properties. They're inflating the prices all over the country, so that's why we have these insane prices for property right now, which is kind of putting it out of the hands of the middle class. But there are some people in the upper middle class that still can afford these homes, and you're like, well, like, what about me? And I'm like, well, you guys can too. It just depends on where you want to live, and that's the other thing too, is that these price fluctuations are highly local. Some areas prices are dropping by 100,000, and in other areas they're rising by 100,000. I had one property that I was selling for 525 and it dropped to 425, and it's still on the market for 375. And then and that was an old house. And then there's this brand new house that I helped a person buy out in Marietta, and we paid 5,000 over asking price. Okay, so and this is all happening in the same time, same market, just different areas. So it's highly local, basically, what's going on there. So I wouldn't, bank on another crash, unless we get into World War III or, some other kind of economic failure, pandemic, something like that. I mean, like that, and, like those things aren't likely. I mean, they weren't likely, 10 years ago, but now they're likely. So, if that happens, maybe. But but unfortunately, there's so much capture going on right now that, and it's just increasing, and that's the problem. So prices are up in some places, down in other places. The good news is that mortgage rates are starting to drop now, and that's because of all of these bank failures, which is kind of like a happy accident, because now that all of these banks are failing, the 10-year bond the 10-year Treasury bond for the United States, that's basically what mortgage companies base their rate off of. They don't really base it off of the Fed, but the Fed kind of makes the 10-year Treasury bond move up and down, so it's kind of a effect after an effect. So anyways, The mortgage companies, based off of the 10-year Treasury bond, and because of these bank failures, that creates a lower, amount of money flowing in the U.S. economy, which lowers the Treasury bonds. And so, because the Treasury bond rates are lowering to make them cheaper, so that way people will buy them, so that way we have more money in the economy. The mortgage rates are lowering as well. So the mortgage rates are lowering to inspire people to, get mortgages for their homes. And there are all sorts of other deals going on right now. Like, I'm not the expert when it comes to talking about mortgages and if you can afford a mortgage, but I do have a friend who is an expert in these things. So the first steps that you want to find out right now is, do you qualify to own a home? Do you qualify? Can you qualify to get a loan for a property? And if you can, then do it now, because these madmen are out there raising prices left and right, purchasing up properties, gobbling them up. These mega corporations gobbling up like large amounts of property all over the place, and there is no stopping them. So, like I said, that's the moral hazard. There's no stopping them. All right, there's no one trying to stop them. Like, we're helping them. We're bailing them out so that way they can invest more. Okay, so like, unless, like, if that's another thing that could stop it, is if we actually got the political will to stop them, then, like, that could actually cause, affordability to come back to homes. So, but like, I'm just talking about, if things stay the way they are, the best time to buy is right now. So you better buy, all right? Otherwise, you're going to have to rent. That's how it is. So is it better to buy or rent right now? That's the bottom line. You're going to have to buy now. Otherwise, you're going to have to rent or become a millionaire. And that's it.